It's a Friday Fights edition of CLNS Celtics Roundtable. We have got a good one for you today, people. Not only do we have our roughest punchers, our toughest hitters, we got a topic that I know everyone has an opinion about. It's Jaylen Brown versus Jayson Tatum. Who's better right now? I mean, I have my opinion. I know Zaire's got an opinion. Sam Sheehan's got some numbers, some calculation he's working out right now, and Lucky Pipe's going to work some memes in some way or another. I'm really excited to talk about this. Let's not even waste any time. Right now, who's better? Sam Sheehan, what has your abacus told you?
The guy who's played in the league longer, Jaylen Brown. I mean, this is not, like, we've seen it time and time again. When rookies come into the league through no fault of their own, they need time to acclimate. The game is faster. Things are going to be faster. Jaylen Brown knows what to expect. He got rotation minutes for a veteran playoff team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals. That experience, just on that alone, even if Jayson Tatum was a vastly more talented player, which I don't think he is, we'll get into that later, Jaylen Brown would clearly be the better player right now. And I don't think that's a particularly strenuous argument.
Whoa. Okay, non-strenuous argument has been thrown down. Zaire, what's your response?
I really don't think you can say clearly. Just because someone has played 1 year in the NBA doesn't mean they're clearly better than anyone else. That just means they have a year of experience. That's all it is. We've all worked a job, and a new guy come in and shows off and does his thing and makes you say, whoa, wait a second, I got to step it up a little bit. So, no, I'm going with Jayson Tatum. I could be wrong, and I hope for Jaylen Brown's sake that I am wrong. But Jayson Tatum, to me, seems to be a more smoother offensive player. And, it also depends on what side of the ball you're talking about. I think Jaylen Brown's going to be a better defender. But this team is going to need offense in that second unit. And I'm going with Tatum. I'm going with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to go on Jaylen's side. I mean, I'm team Jaylen until I die. But honestly, if you're going to break it down by, like, skill set, right now he has better defense. Right now he's a better catch-and-shoot player. Right now he has more athleticism. He's probably stronger to the hoop, potentially a better finisher, and probably Tatum has him in assists. He's a better creator and a better woman respecter. But I still think on the whole you're going to have to go with Jaylen.
Huh. Well, I guess I'm not going to be able to like make it a clear response for anyone here because I definitely think the answer's got to be Jayson Tatum. I admit it's close too, guys. And while Jaylen's got the year experience that Sam feels is important for, I'm not really sure why. I can think of a lot of guys who've got a year experience who suck. Jaylen doesn't suck, but Jaylen wasn't great last year by any means. Yes, he made his way into the rotation. That's partially a reflection of where the Celtics wing depth, didn't show up as much, in my opinion. Gerald Green was starting, let's not forget, in the playoffs. Jayson Tatum is the guy who Danny Ainge talked about as, I would have taken that guy #1 overall. I don't remember him ever saying anything like that about Jaylen Brown, even though they both went 3rd overall in the actual draft. Tatum's got the smoothest, like Zaire's saying. He's already got scoring ability. He can probably score 12 to 15 points right now in the NBA, given enough time and the opportunity, like if he's on a worse team. It's possible in the first, month or two of the season, Jaylen's going to get more PT, but I got to believe by February, Jayson Tatum is going to be showing up in ways that Jaylen just won't be able to.
I think that what we got to do is we've got to kind of consider what the role is going to be for these players going forward. And I think that if you're assuming that Jaylen Brown is going to be a small forward and Jayson Tatum is going to be a small forward, I think you might be able to make the argument that maybe Jayson Tatum would do better just because of scoring potential and what he can do for the second unit scoring wise, because they're going to need that. But Jaylen Brown, when playing alongside the starters last year as a shooting guard, was excellent. Plus minus statistics totally flipped. The team was much better. Jaylen himself was much better. And let's not forget that he had some really savvy, some of the best shooting two guards in the game, guys like J.J. Redick, talking about how they had a real hard time losing him on screens and doing those, and just really praising what a great defender he was. I just think that if we're expecting Jayson Tatum to come in and immediately dominate offensively to the point where he can, sort of get away with being a little bit less athletic and less quick against some of the, the wings that might be a little bit more shifty and juke a little bit more. I don't know. I think that Jaylen Brown knows what he needs to do to help this team win. And he has helped a very good team win as a starter before. And I just don't see that for Jayson Tatum in his rookie year.
Well, I think one thing about Jaylen Brown that to me matters most is time on the floor and if it resulted in wins and losses. So he had some cool things about, his shooting percentage. If he can shoot 45% again, I'll take that. If he can shoot 34% from three again, I'll take that. But one thing I will say about Jaylen Brown is this: 15 and 12 in games where he played over 20 minutes or more. 15 and 12 in games where he played 20 minutes or less, 35 and 16. I think that matters, Now, should he improve this year? Yeah, he should. But there's no guarantee, man. And I didn't see that big thing that everybody is, well, not everybody, but a lot of people see in Jaylen Brown. I just don't see it right now. Jayson Tatum, to me, has just that flash. He has that spark. And it seems to be a more consistent, comfortable offensive game with him that I don't see with Jaylen Brown.
First of all, Zaire, that's probably because if he's playing more minutes, then there's somebody in the starting lineup that got hurt. So you're playing with a hurt team. So that record that he's playing more minutes, I think is going to be worse by nature of there's less good players on the team able to play. So I checked that first. And then I just think it comes down to shot selection. And I think Jayson Tatum is going to be taking a lot of shots that aren't very good. And, he's going to have to, even if he scores at an elite level like DeRozan, it's always going to be hard for him. So if I see him get that three-pointer together and take more catch and shoots, then I'll be on board with the Tatum train. He's going to be awesome. But I think just right now, I think Jaylen has a better shot selection. He's more, he's a good catch and shooter. And I think that's.
Let me swing back real quick.
Hit me.
All right, first of all, he's the third pick of the NBA draft last year. That shows how sorry that draft was. Like I said before, dude, show your worth. You know what I'm saying? And I don't buy the other guys. I mean, he's just not. He wasn't that prolific offensively. You know what I'm saying? Period. And yeah, he has a more basic shot selection, in my opinion, than Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum is going to do more creative things, so he's going to take more risks. So at times it's going to be like, okay, maybe he's going a little off too much, but that's his game, and it's going to pay off in the long run, in my opinion. So yeah, you can look at it and say, okay, yeah, he's got more. It's safer. That's what it is. It's safer. But being safe doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be better.
I think that there's something to be said for if the Celtics were a team like the Atlanta Hawks that were just done tearing everything down and they needed to find a way to make the squad a lot better in a hurry, I think that you could definitely make the case that what Jayson Tatum brings is much more valuable, because I think he does have more of that sort of the superstar offense build around something. He has a much more chance to be like a Carmelo Anthony or something like that. Whereas with Jaylen Brown, you're more looking at like a super incredible, hyper athletic, sort of utility player.
Tony Allen.
Tony, not Tony Allen.
Way better than that.
Woo!
Clay.
That I think that with the Celtics, they're going to need Jaylen Brown's skill set this year much more than they will need Jayson Tatum's skill set this year. Especially just when it comes to, even if you just take corner shooting, Jaylen Brown is an above average corner 3-point shooter right now. I don't know that Jayson Tatum's an above average corner 3-point shooter. He had pretty good spacing at Duke a lot of the time. I know he was hurt for a lot of the year and he really came on strong during the second half, but it's not like he was the only guy on his team, that the defense had to worry about. He had other guys on that squad who could also, take care of things. So I don't know. I think we're all expecting a little bit too much of Jayson, who, by the way, I like. But I just think that we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves with what to expect from a rookie. And I don't think we have to look any farther than to look at what Jaylen's own rookie year was like.
It's not fair to compare the two guys, though, entirely, right? Like, this year, they had similar, almost the exact same, really, Summer League stats, even though Tatum's a year and a half younger and doesn't have that year of experience, like you're talking about, both in the Summer League and the NBA. Also, Tatum was good at Duke while Jaylen Brown was a disaster at Cal. Like, he was bad. I mean, he clearly, Danny Ainge saw something in him, and I'm glad he did. Like, Jaylen Brown seems like he's going to be a good player. But the fact that we're talking about the difference in ceilings here, that Jaylen Brown might be like a really good 3-and-D player with maybe some extra athleticism, while Jayson Tatum could be Carmelo Anthony, that says a lot to me. And while right now the Celtics maybe need a little more Jaylen Brown and a little less Carmelo Anthony, 2 months from now, or maybe just for the scoring off the bench, that could be all Jayson Tatum all the time. In my mind, anyway. Another thing, though, that's in my mind is that fantasy football is back, baby, because the NFL is back. And that means FanDuel is back, too. FanDuel's, of course, fantasy football for everyday fans. New contests starting every week. So if your favorite player is hurt, your season isn't lost, David Johnson fans. You know what I'm talking about. There's a new opportunity next week. There's something for everyone. There's lots of contests to choose from. Entry fees start as low as $1. Just pick a contest, choose your team, and watch your score in real time. There's over 2.5 million players that have won cash prizes playing fantasy sports on FanDuel. Sign up today by going to FanDuel.com, click the Join Now button, and enter the promo code. And I got to tell you, people, this one hurts a little bit, so just bear with me. The promo code LakersNation. I know, but it's worth it. Try FanDuel for free with no deposit required. You visit FanDuel.com to claim our free contest and play for a share of $10,000. So you're just going to have to swallow it up and use the promo code LakersNation. Of course, void where prohibited and all other legal things. All right, coming back to the Jaylen versus Jayson thing, I got to ask you one question, Sam Sheehan. You mentioned that thing about Jaylen Brown playing so well with the starters. Exactly how many minutes did he play with the starters when you're saying he was so good?
I believe it was starting 12 games, but I think it was somewhere around 20 minutes a game. So, like, you know, it is a small sample size. I mean, but
yeah.
we're also talking about a rookie, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, the sample sizes are going to be small. Like,
okay,
Levy, what's the sample size for Jayson Tatum?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just, I was wondering that.
What is Jayson?
Okay,
Tatum?
fine. But the one thing you're saying that is your reason is your admittedly small sample size. You're a math guy. Doesn't it hurt you to say things that are small sample size? Doesn't that pain you though? It must pain you a little bit.
But you've also got to look at just how stark the difference is. I mean, that's the two things you got to look at. You got to look at how big the sample size is, but also how extreme the changes in the numbers. And that is, it's night and day. Like, I've sorted through all these different units. And the biggest single thing for the Celtics this year was Isaiah Thomas, obviously. The next biggest thing was Jay Crowder. And then the next biggest, one of the, having him on or off. And then it was whether or not Marcus Smart or Jaylen Brown got to play as the shooting guard versus Avery Bradley. And Jaylen Brown was excellent in those minutes. And it was, for Marcus Smart, he was pretty good on the floor no matter what, even though he had a terrible shooting. So to see Jaylen's numbers invert like that, like totally swap around, was much more imperative than what was going on with Marcus. So I think that Jaylen, and I think that there's reasons for that. Jaylen Brown is an excellent rebounder, and he does not get credit for it. I think he was something like 5th or 4th for rotation players on the Celtics in rebounding, and this is a team, bigs. I think he had Marcus Smart ahead of him. It was Marcus, Amir, and Al. Like, the two bigs and Marcus were the two people who rebounded better than him. So, and he's, up there in terms of small forwards in the NBA. So I think that rebounding help, especially with this year with just Al Horford and, God knows whoever else is bigs, I think that rebounding is really going to help out. Maybe Jayson Tatum will also be an excellent rebounder, but we've already seen Jaylen Brown establish himself as a great rebounder here in the NBA.
Have we?
Yeah.
No one on this basketball team is a great rebounder. I mean, I don't.
Fair.
If we have a great rebounder, I mean, he didn't show himself last year. He didn't show himself in the playoffs. I mean, you can look once again. I'm not on that small sample size thing either, man. It's just like, look, he's going to have an opportunity to prove me wrong, prove a lot of people wrong that just don't buy it, and a lot of people do buy it. So I guess I'm contradicting myself, but I don't know, like the rebounding thing. How can you say the guy's a great rebounder when he, 8 rebounds was tops for him for the most part? I mean, there's nothing. I don't see Rodman when I see Jaylen Brown. I don't even see Jerome Mullane, and I don't know if you guys even know who that is.
I I think it's important. Like, I think getting a guy, we saw Avery Bradley have 8 rebounds a game. Yet,
now he was a great rebounder, 6'2", 7 boards a game.
But that's where I'm going with this. Is his uncontested rebound rate was second worst on the team because he just didn't have guys around him when he was getting those rebounds. He was cleaning up the rebounds. Jaylen and Marcus, when they had another guy within 1 foot, 1 feet, 2 feet, multiple guys going for a rebound, they came down with them more than anyone else on the team. It wasn't Amir Johnson or Al Horford. So
I mean, you want to talk small sample size. Now we have the time when Jaylen Brown has a guy within 1 or 2 feet and the rebounds coming. How many times did that happen all season?
Enough.
You're reaching for straws, man. You're reaching for straws. Now you want to say Avery Bradley got uncontested rebounds. He got rebounds. Somebody had to get the rebound. So whether it was contested or not, he got the rebound. Kelly didn't get the rebound. You know what I'm saying? Nope. Somebody had to get the rebound. So once again, I understand rebounds in traffic matter, but there's a lot of times when, you just got to get a rebound, period. And we didn't have anybody but Avery Bradley grabbing rebounds last year at times. So once again, there's no great rebounder on the squad until they prove themselves.
Marcus Morris. Get ready, guys. It's happening.
I hope so.
We need someone who can box out besides Marcus Smart, because that's gonna be the biggest key. That's why Avery Bradley got a lot of these rebounds, because you had the other guys putting bodies on people. So we need people who understand boxing out, or I might destroy my TV. And I'm poor, man. I can't buy another TV. I can't put my foot through a TV again.
I wouldn't sell out on Jaylen not being able to create offense either. I know he doesn't assist wise, but I think he can develop moves if people are covering him on the 3-point line because he's 37 or above % shooter from there. I think he has the kind of explosiveness that Jayson Tatum can't even sniff, that he can just get around people and just go off on I'm not gonna go here, but I'm gonna go here, guys. How LeBron just turns the corner around a player and it's just force of momentum. It's gonna be a basket. Well, Jaylen Brown in 3 years, get ready for it. It's gonna happen.
It sounds
3
good
years.
to me.
I don't care about 3 years from now. I'm talking about right now. Jaylen Brown's gonna average about 6-7 points per game, and that's gonna be fine with me because there's no way. When you think about it, there's no way he needs to average even more. Actually, he doesn't need to because you have 2 very good scorers. You got another good, solid scorer in Al Horford. Marcus Morris, I believe Marcus Morris is going to average somewhere in between 11 and 14, maybe even, and that'll be great. So there you go, 4 double-digit scores. And Jayson Tatum, if he can give me 9 or 10, great. And Jaylen Brown, just ball out on defense, give me a 7. And I'm cool.
All right, people, you heard us weigh in. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to be better this year, Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum. If you like this show, hit the like button and subscribe to CLNS Media. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on any of your podcast apps, go ahead and subscribe to the Boston Celtics newsfeed. That way you get us in your iPhone or whatever you're happening to listen to it, just delivered right to it. Also, follow us on Twitter at CLNS Roundtable. And, of course, we're on Celtics blog now. You can find all our videos there. I want to thank Zaire. I want to thank Lucky's Pipe. And, of course, Sam Sheehan. I'm Jonathan Levy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on The Roundtable.